Hi, my name is Trevor Yeltman, and I am here for assignment number 4, Trauma and Student Development, the application of that. The purpose of this video is to show the relationship between brain neuroscience, the knowledge or the learnings that I've learned from that, and explain how to utilize that in a classroom to help students. So the introduction or the organization of this video, it's gonna be about the brain, adversity, and safety. It's going to be about brain adversity, relationships, brain adversity, self-regulation, and brain adversity and relating to others. So again, the purpose is just to take all the things I've learned through the brain studies, take that learning, explain how I'm going to utilize it within safety, relationships, regulation, and relating to others. The first slide here is on brain adversity and safety. So we know the quote here says, students need a sense of physical and psychological safety for learning to occur, since fear and anxiety undermine cognitive capacity and short circuit the learning process. This quote here is evident that safety is a key factor in learning. And as a teacher in an elementary setting, we're here for students to learn. But we can't, if we understand the brain, we realize that learning is not going to happen without first a sense of safety. Jacob Ham, in his video, Learning Brain versus Survival Brain, clearly shows in a very simple manner, he shows how the difference between a learning brain and a survival brain. We have students with adversity that come in here with a lot of more of a survival brain. They don't feel safe. Their stress response systems are alarmed, and they're not ready to enter their prefrontal cortex. And the learning brain is ready for those things. And so in this classroom setting, in this elementary level, for me, it's important that I communicate and convey to students that they're safe with me, not only physically, but also emotionally. Mistakes are okay and they happen, and we're going to learn from them. They're accepted for who they are, and the choices that they make, they're loved no matter what, and they belong here. So again, when I've studied or through the course here, it's been very evident that safety is step one and how to connect to even connect with the student, and then from there learning. And we know through research that students that do not feel safe, or if their stress response systems are heightened, they're not ready to learn. Second slide here is on the brain, adversity, and relationships. One of the greatest takeaways from this course, without question, is this idea where kids do well if they can. It's a phrase here that I quoted from Ablon in 2014. He had a video that I will reference later, but it's kids do well if they can. So for me, it allows educators a chance to approach challenging behavior as a skill deficit. So we know students with adversity, they don't feel safe. They have outwards this inner feeling of not being safe, and that stress is creating this outward emotions, sometimes leading to what we would call challenging behavior. And so it's important, though, as we approach challenging behavior in students with that, that we realize there's a skill deficit here. It's not so much a will deficit, and that is foundational in creating relationships and connections. Dr. Bruce Perry, again, referenced later in my resource pages, he has a video on the TBS where he talks about how after safety is then when we can finally build connections. The reason that relationships is my second slide is because if they don't feel safe, you can't connect with students anyway. And so Dr. Bruce Perry explained how this bottom part of our brain is for safety, that middle part is that connectional piece, and then the upper one is for the prefrontal cortex. This is going to be part one of my video because I have this is screencastify, so this will be just part one. But again, relationships, empathy, connections. Students need to feel a sense of belonging, and then we can connect, and then hopefully from there, learning will take place. So stay tuned for part number 2.